guys, Miss Levercheck here. Happy to see you. So what we're going to do here is that Wednesday and Thursday we're going to do factoring, something we did before spring break. Okay. Today just straight factoring. Thursday factoring with the GCF, and then Friday we're going to solve by factoring. So I'll review from before spring break since it's been a while, and then next week we'll do square property and quadratic formula. So we'll continue on to solving quadratic. Your note sheet that you had from before break will be useful here. I also have a copy on Schoology, and I also have it filled in notes for you as well. So let's start recalling factoring. So with factoring, remember it's either a trinomial or a binomial. This is a trinomial. It has three terms. So the first thing we want to do, because there's no GCFs today, is you want to identify A, B, and C. A is the number in front of x squared, B is the number in front of x, and C is your constant, the number by itself. So in this problem here, 2 is our A, 1 is our B, and -3 is our C. Okay? Remember, A cannot be 0, but B and C can be 0, and that's perfectly fine. So once we have A, B, and C, remember we fill out our chart. The bottom here, we make our x. The top is what A times C is. So A times C here is going to be -6. The bottom is what B is, and B is 1. And then here's what A equals, which is A equals 2. Okay. So then we think to ourselves and say, what multiplies to give me -6, but combines to give me 1? So multiplies to -6, combines to give me a +1. Well, looking at it, I would think +3 and -2. +3 times -2 is -6, but +3 plus -2 is +1. So we have our factors there that work. So then I'm going to write them out. And so I end up with x plus 3/2 and x minus 2/2. And if you remember when we had those, the next thing we do is you want to reduce them. If we can't reduce them, we leave them improper. So 3/2 cannot reduce, so that's going to stay the same. But 2/2 can reduce to -1. And then we're almost done here. Once you reduce it, if there's still a fraction, what we do is we take that denominator and move it in front. So I end up with 2x plus 3, x minus 1. That is my answer. Remember that if I multiply this through and distribute it, I'll get back to my original problem, and that's a way to kind of check to make sure I'm good. Okay, let's do 2 more together, and then there is practice online. There is a regular factoring and factoring with the GCF, and that'll be due Thursday by 11:59 p.m. And then you'll have a short little 5 problems or something that'll also be due Sunday night by 11:59 p.m. too. So short. Assignments are pretty short, just to make sure we kind of understand what's going on. So the next problem we're going to do is going to be this one right here. So as you see, it's x squared plus 3x plus 6. And I identified A is 1, B is 3, and C is 2. So when I look at this problem here, that's a 2, not a 6. Okay, so when I look at these problems here, I plug in A is 1, so I put my 1s there. A times C, so 2 times 1 is 2, and then B is 3. So I think to myself, what numbers multiply to give me 2, but combine to give me 3? Well, that's going to be a +1 and a +2. So a +1 and a +2. So I'm going to write those down here on the board. And so I get x plus 1/1 and x plus 2/1. And then I'm going to take those and simplify them down. And I end up with x plus 1, x plus 2. And I'm done. So as you see through the board, if I multiply that through, x times x will give me x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 1 times x is 1x. And 2 times 1 is 2, which gives me back to my original trinomial. Okay? Let's do one more where A is not 1, just like on the board here. So I have this problem here with a 6 plus x squared plus 13x plus 6. So I identified A is going to be 6, and B is going to be 13, and C is also going to be 6. There's no GCF here, so I'm perfectly fine. So I'm just going to fill in my board. So I end up with A is 6, A is 6. A times C right here, that's going to give me 36. And then my B is 13. So I think to myself, what numbers multiply to give me 36, but then it combined to give me 13? Well, if I think about that, that's going to be a positive 9 and a positive 4. Because 9 times 4 is positive 36, but 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay? So if we take that there, we then write out those binomials. So I write out those binomials right here, and I end up with x plus 9 over 6, x plus 4 over 6. So I just take those fractions, and I put them down here in the binomials, and then I simplify those down. So when I simplify those down, I end up with x plus 3 over 2, because 3 goes into 9 and 3 goes into 6, and x plus 2 over 3. So I end up with those when I simplify them down. I've simplified down the fractions, but I still have fractions, so then I need to take those denominators and move them in front. So when I get that, I get 2x plus 3, 3x plus 2. And I am done. And if I would multiply that together, so 2 times 3x, 2x times 2, 3 times 3x, 3x times 2, when I simplified it down, I would get back to my 6x plus 13x plus 6. Okay? I look forward to seeing you guys on Google Meet. So every day, we will have during the week, we'll have a Google Meet session for just Algebra 1. And that's going to be from 9:30 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. I've already put the link in the email, and it's also on Schoology for you to look at. So every day during the week, if you have questions on what we've learned or questions from the past, what we've learned, please log on, ask those questions, and that is a time designated just Algebra 1 and to answer any questions that you might have. Okay? I'm going to see you guys tomorrow on Google Meet, and I will post another video tomorrow. Have a great evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it.